Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Wilson, and I'm going to be your host today for this portion of the Connect with Business Databases series. Today, we're going to take a look at A to Z databases, and this is sort of a multi purpose, very rich information piece that will help you find a number of things. So, in a few minutes, I'm going to switch over and we're going to start looking at A to Z and we'll learn a little bit about all the things that you can do with it. Before I do that, however, I do want to give you a couple of things, a couple of pieces of information about this. I do want to give you a couple of pieces of information about this program. Anything that we do as part of this series is going to eventually be placed on the Kershaw County Library YouTube page. So you will be able to go back and review it at any point in time. Also, if you have any questions after we have finished the program or after you viewed it later, please feel free to email those questions to me at any time. My address is on the screen for you, so please jot it down and just ask those questions. If I can answer it, I will let you know immediately. If not, I may have to call or email you back and ask some more questions so that you can tell me exactly what you need. So please feel free later on to go back and review this. It's going to be placed out there on the Kershaw County Library YouTube page for you, and we'd be more than happy to have you take a look at it. So, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to go to the Kershaw County Library website. That's at Kershaw County Library, all spelled out, all squished together, .org. And what you're going to see when you get to that web page is what you see on the screen now. You'll notice there's a little line on here that says research and learning. If I rest on that, it's going to give me some additional information. And I'm going to go right down below that to e-resources and click on that. Now at home, when you do that portion, it's going to let you follow through with me just as we are right now. But in a few minutes, you are going to be required to enter the library card number from your Kershaw County Library card to access the database. It's going to come open. It's going to say, "Welcome to Kershaw County Library," or something similar to that. And then it's going to have a space to type in your library card number and then a space for a PIN number. There is no PIN number. So you do not have to enter a PIN, just enter your library card number. So here on the e-resources page, if I come down just a little bit, it's going to give me a list of subject areas that are available. If you notice that second one down says business and consumer information. When you click on that, it's going to open up and it's going to give you a list of these pieces that are business and consumer information pieces. So the first one is up there, says A to Z databases. You can either click here on the blue link or you can click over here on the logo. So I'm going to click there and it's going to open up the A to Z page. Now, this step is where yours is going to ask you at home for that library card number. So make sure that you have it handy. When you put that in there and you click the box, it's going to open up and it's going to show you exactly what you see on my screen. So what is A to Z databases? It's a premier research, reference, marketing, mailing list, and sales lead database. In addition to that, it also does some job search assistance. So, what is on this A to Z database homepage? Well, if you look across the top, there's going to be a series of options. The one that's marked data quality right here, if you would click on that, it gives you a further explanation of how this information is available and how they compile the information to put it on the page. The next one over says intro videos. These are short videos describing what is available in the A to Z database and how to use that information. Under FAQ, y'all know that that's frequently asked questions. So these are basic questions that provide information for both the general public and for librarians like me. and what it has to do with A to Z databases. Under About, you'll notice that there are several things here. It explains the process behind the information and how it's available. It introduces the team at the A to Z databases office. It provides some customer reviews, and it introduces the A to Z databases blog. So that's all something that you can take a look at any time. Right next to that, it says Reference Desk, and it has a couple of things listed there. The first thing that is there is the A to Z Training Center. If you are at home and you want to refresh yourself about what's in A to Z University, or A to Z U, is designed to help you learn more. They are live training webinars, and they are held 6 times each week, but you do need to register by clicking the little register button right down here, and it will take you out to the A to Z Training Center for registration. The other part of it is how to cite the A to Z databases. If you were doing this for a work or school project, you are going to have to cite where you get the information from, and so it's going to walk you through how to do that. Over here, right next to that is Contact. If you want to contact the folks at A to Z for any reason, you can click there and it will let you contact them about anything that you have to have need of. Something new on here is the Saved Searches account. If you create an account on here, you can actually save your searches and keep them available for yourself. If you do create an account, make sure that you log off when you are finished. And also there is an In Espanol button. So if you click on that, it's actually going to change the page and make it all in Spanish. You can click in English and it will go back to the English page. Over here to the left is the home button. That will always take you back to this home page for the website. They actually call it the landing page. So when you see that term, it's the same thing as the home page. And then again, over here to the right, I've already told you about the A to Z University piece and how to register there. Right below the home button, you have a series of boxes. The ones that we see right now, there's 3 main boxes, and then there are a few others to the side. These are search boxes for each area. So you can enter search terms into each module or use the advanced search option if it becomes available. You'll see that right down here at the bottom of each one of these modules. And when you click the search button, when you finish filling in the search boxes and you click the search button, it's going to return your results. Now below this area, I'm going to move this page down a little bit, are 6 additional modules. So here to the left, you're going to see 30 million businesses and executives, and it allows you to narrow your search by the type of business, the employee size, the sales size, geography, and you can also use a map-based search, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Right below that, we have 2 million new businesses. It allows you to narrow your search by time frame, how recently the business opened, by keyword, as well as by geography. Below that, we have 12 million healthcare professionals, and it allows searching by the specialty of the medical professional, the state of their license, or the geography for the area. Over to the right-hand side, we have 240 million residents, which allows you to search by home income, home value, and various geographical selections. Under there, we have 350,000 new movers / homeowners added weekly. This is for people who have moved recently, usually within the last week or so, and it allows you to search by how far of a distance that they moved, the type of housing that they live in, their geography, and it also gives their previous known address. You will also find new homeowners who have recently purchased their home. Below that is universal or simultaneous searching between businesses and residents. So they call this a radical new way to search. It allows you to search both sides of the coin without having to do one and then the other. Now you'll notice for each one of those, it has a little get started button next to it. These are going to be taught slightly differently than the 3 other modules. And so we're going to take a look at some things at the top before we come back here to the bottom. So let me move back up here. And under Find a Business or Executive, these are the business profiles. They're going to help you find the information that is out there. For Find a Job, you can find either the job or next door to that there's career resources as well that will help you. Either one of those is usable under this module. So those are where you will be able to find information about careers, find a job for yourself, and also it gives the link for cover letters and resumes below that. And there is an advanced search on this one. But so that you know this, A to Z Databases works with Indeed.com on the Find a Job. So the returns that are going to come back are ones from Indeed. Next door to that, we have Find a Person and also Search by Phone. So depending upon which one you have clicked, it's going to give you different options for typing things in. And you can search either by the person or by the phone number that you might have. Now, there are also something called map-based searches. They are usually done closer to the bottom portion of this, but they will create a boundary area and include only those businesses or residents inside the boundary that you set. So all of this information is going to be available to you on the screen. In addition to those things, the map-based is just one little piece that comes along with this. There's also graphs and charts that you can use for visuals for your business. And they are available for businesses, residential, new mover, new homeowner, and healthcare data searches. So those are all ones from below this. Company corporate structuring, and we'll go back to look at this a little bit later. But what it will do is take you through the corporate family tree and provide links to trace a company to its ultimate parent company. And we'll take a look at these as we go through some of this information in just a few minutes. And finally, there's some interviewing information on here, and they are basically lists of do's and don'ts for how you do not want to interview and how you want to interview. So that's a lot of information, and it's going to take a long time to get through all of this. So one of the first questions everybody asks is, how do I create a search? Well, one of the problems with A to Z is it's so varied in its information, there's not just one way to search. So as we go through here, we're going to create searches in each section, and each of the types of searches that might be available will be shown. So first of all, we have, how do I quickly find a business profile? So you're going to go to Find a Business or Executive, and you're going to type in the name of a business. Now you're going to have to click in that box, and it might do something like mine does, where it provides information about previous places that you have searched. And in this case, we're going to type in GameStop. And I know you know what that is. So we're going to find out more about it as we go. Now, right below that, you've got 3 little radio buttons. The first one that has the little blue highlight in it is the word contains. And what it's telling you is it's going to look for anything that contains the term GameStop. If you want to choose exact, you can click on the exact radio button, and it will be then only searching for the exact information you've put in. And then the third one is fuzzy. And if you choose that one, it's actually going to give you some that are very similar, but not quite the same. So we've clicked in here, we've typed in GameStop, and we're going to search for all the locations of the company, and then we may do some other things. But if you happen to know what city this company is in, you can click into the city box and put that information in, and you can click into the state box and choose the state for whichever location that you're looking. If you don't enter anything in city or state, you're going to get the nationwide search, and it's going to give you every place that is named GameStop. So for right now, we're just going to click the search button and see what this will bring up. So you'll notice as you work on it that it's going to stop and hesitate and concentrate that information and get it out there for you. So now this is a list of 3,363 GameStops. Across the top here, you've got a number of things. First of all, you have records per page. You can change that 25 to 50 to 100. You can revise your search, or you can create a new search. Also up here, it tells you that you can email, download, or print up to 1,000 records per search. Now, if you needed this entire list, you're not going to get it because it's 3,363. It will let you choose the first 1,000 and do that as an email, download, or print. In addition, you have the option of sorting, making the map, doing a graph, and some other information along here, including the download, the print, and the email button. And as you look down through here, in this case, you see the very first thing is a holding corporation, and it says HQ. That stands for headquarters. So that is actually the headquarters, which is in Grapevine, Texas. It gives you the name of the person in charge. It gives you their address and their city and state and their phone number, their revenue, and then at the very end, you have the corporate family tree. And what the corporate family tree does is it lets you move up or down until you find that top or that headquarters spot. So those are all things that you can take a look at. So just for instance, we're going to try something. We're going to go back up here and we're going to say revise that search. And here we're going to put in the state of South Carolina and search again. And it's going to narrow it down to just the ones for the state of South Carolina. In this case, you have 61 results, and it gives you all of the locations, including the one right here on Springdale Drive in Camden. If I click over here on the word GameStop, it's going to open up, and it's going to be giving me the more interesting pieces of information. There's the overview box here that will let you take a look at that, and then you can actually find things in a radius of however many miles. There are demographics, there are credit ratings. If you come down, there are job postings here for GameStop, and notice down here, jobs by Indeed. Over here is the industry profile for the company. Come a little bit farther down, you have a description over here. You have a QR code. So if you have your smartphone handy, you can click that QR code and have it read and take you to the location that you're looking for. Over here is other important information, hours of operation, the ownership, the corporate linkage again. Over here, we have the competitors, which you'll see are mostly GameStops, although Music Gator and Seco Music and Manifest of Columbia and Repeat Records are all on there as well. There's a historical data for their revenue and their employment. There's nearby businesses, their executive directory, which they do not have available, how to find them on the internet, and their expenditures. That's a lot of information for each particular one that you want to look at. In addition to that, If you want to expand them all or minimize them all and choose only the links that you want to go to, you have that option to do that. And if I go back to results up here, it's going to go back to that full list. And so now it has the GameStop in Camden noted with the little check mark in the box. So let's go back home. And we're going to take a look at how to find a job. So in this case, you can search for a job using the title, the keyword, or the business name. You can also put in the city, state, or zip code. And you can choose whether you want full-time, part-time, internship, or any type, meaning all. Below that, you have the cover letters and resume click bar, and then you also have an advanced search option. So for this point in time, we're just going to go look for positions somewhere in Omaha, Nebraska, and it's going to be for accounting. So up here for the title, we can type in accounting. Whoops, if I can spell correctly. And then down here under city, state, or zip, we are going to put in Omaha, comma, Nebraska. And you'll notice I am not capitalizing these things. It's not necessary for you to capitalize anything. All right, so we've gotten those two things entered in there, and we're just going to try clicking the search button, and we'll see what happens. So right now there are 243 results for something to do with accounting in and around Omaha, Nebraska. If you were looking at being the purchasing inventory management specialist, there is one open right here with a company called CSGI. And if I click on that, it's going to open up and it's going to give me the information about the job, just the way that it looks on Indeed. And so you can read through this. If it is indeed what you want, you can actually do apply on company site, and it will take you to the company site in just a second here. So this is the company site that's on View All Jobs, and it's going to walk you through the jobs that are available there, including with the one that we just saw on the other page, and then it will let you apply from that point. So I'm going to go on ahead and close that because we're not going to actually apply. I just basically wanted you to see how that looks. And then up here, I am going to, and we're back to our search result from A to Z. And that search result is still there. It has all information that we did get as a response. Over here to the right-hand side, you'll see View All Jobs. If you liked the information that CSGI put out there and you wanted to see all of their jobs, you can actually click on that link. It's going to open up that page again, and then it's going to give you more information about how this goes. Now, Indeed usually wants you to go on ahead and activate an account with them. That's up to you. If you do have your Indeed activated, it will let you sign in right up here at the top and go on ahead and fill in your information that way. But you also can always just go back to that CSGI website and take a look there, and it will let you go on ahead and fill in the application there. So that is the information that's going to be on this page that you're looking at. If you notice here, there's a Find a Job button here. It will let you do a new search or revise the search. I'm going to click on New Search, and it's going to take me back here. And here under the Find a Job down here, you've got the cover letter and resume. information. If I click on that, it's going to open up and it's going to give you some information about writing a resume and about connecting with your potential employers. It's a very helpful thing. You'll notice under the writing a resume, they do have templates and examples. If you click on that, it will take you to that portion. So I'm going to go on ahead and close this, but that is how the Find a Job feature works. Under career resources, again, it's how to prepare. It's going to give you some skills assessments to work with. It's got how to apply, which is part of the resumes. And then there are the interview do's and don'ts. And finally, we're going to take a look at Find a Person over here. You can search for executives, residents, or both, and you can narrow your search down using the city and or the state. And there is a reverse lookup by the phone number if you have just the phone number. So if I'm looking under the person, I'm going to look for somebody named Jennifer Smith. So I'm going to type in Jennifer, and I'm going to move over and type in Smith. We're going to look just for residents. So I'm going to change it from both, and I'm going to click over here next to residents, and now it will only search for the residents. And in this case, we're just going to go nationwide. So we're not going to put in a city or state. And we're going to search, and we'll see how many Jennifer Smiths there are. Now, when we get here, you're going to see this little line here that says phone numbers shown may be on a do not call list. You, meaning the person using the database, are responsible to comply with any applicable laws regarding telemarketing. And if you're not sure what that means, there's a little tell me more button over there. Just click on tell me more and it will go through the rest. So in this case, there are 15,911 Jennifer Smiths nationwide. And in addition to Jennifer, you will also see Jenny and Jen and any other sort of nickname that might be on here as well. So it's going to pull those in on there on its own. And if you want to see the information about Jenny here in Anchorage, Alaska, if you click on her first name, it's going to open up and it's going to give you information about Jenny J. Smith, where she lives, what her neighborhood information is, who her neighbors are, and all of that sort of information. And over here, you again have those quick links where you can expand or minimize or just choose whatever ones that you want. Also up here, it's going to have you give some data feedback if you would like to. If you know that this is incorrect information, you can let A to Z know and they'll take a look at it. You can again download, print, or email this particular piece. So if I go back up here and click on results, it's going to show me those complete results again. And again, you'll have up here the notification that email, download, or print is only available up to 1,000 records per search. So let's move a little bit below this. All right, so we're going to go back to the very beginning. We're going to go back to that home page now. So let's click on home. It's going to take us back to the main portion. I'm going to come down this page just a little bit and we'll look at this second piece. So I'm going to take these slightly out of order as I go. Please don't get upset with me over that, but sometimes you need to see one thing before you see another. And so we're going to take it the way that the instruction tells me how to do this. So the next part is how to get a business sales lead and mailing list. And you'll notice that this information right across here at the top says mailing lists, sales leads, emails, and then advanced searching. So it's going to give you the ability to see some things. So if you were looking to sell reusable bags to grocers in the Omaha metro area, you're going to need a list of those grocers and you need to then send them a promotional mailer about this. So you're going to actually go here under 30 million businesses and executives. And down here, it's going to say you can view some sample reports, and then it's going to give you some more information about what you can do from this. But we're just going to click on Get Started. And this is where the fun begins. I'm going to kind of take you across the top of this page for just a minute and give you an indication of what's going on. Over here on the left, it will help you narrow the search by putting information in. You'll have to do a checkbox to make it show up here in the second section. And you'll notice right here, the type of report at this point in time is all records, and it's not breaking it down any farther than that. That's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So that's why that's here. And then over here along the side, you have a search button for when your click boxes are all complete and you want to do your search. And below that, there's an update count if you want to see how that count changes as you move along. So in this case, over here under the search by panel, under the geography section, we're going to check on metro area. And then over here, it's going to ask me to select a state. So I'm going to choose Nebraska. And that's right here. When it shows up down here, because you'll see in just a minute that the Omaha Council Bluffs is here. And that's the area that we're looking at, is Omaha, Nebraska, Council Bluffs, Iowa area. And so then we can go down a little bit farther, and under the keyword for the business type here, what we're going to do is type in keyword business type. So let me click on that and it produces that. And here under this, I'm going to type in grocers. And then under here, we've got some suggestions, and we're going to do grocers wholesale and give that a click. And so down below that, it's got it here. So it's actually going to search that. And then we're going to click update count and give it just a minute. And at this point in time, there are 15. And so we can go on ahead and click search, and it's going to open up, and it's going to give you the list of the 15 grocers in that area. And so you would be able to print, email, or download those. You can do 25 records at a time while you're doing that. There's no limit on the total number of records you can export, but it is 1,000 records per search. So if this search had been 1,015, you could only get 1,000 of the documents. And over here, you have those download, print, and email, and some other information like we looked at before. And you can select the format and level of detail you'd like to display, and do some other specific information type things. So if I choose details here, I have to check the box. It's not going to do the whole list without me checking it. So over here at the top where it says business name, there's a checkbox. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to say I want to see details. And it's going to open up, and it's going to give me the details for records 1 through 15. So you can choose whichever things that you want, and you can make the search as narrow or as broad as you choose. And you're going to hear that multiple times while we're working through this. So that's how you get a hold of that information. I'm going to go back to home, and we're going to take a look at the next piece. So I'm going to go to the bottom again, and this time, instead of businesses, we're going to look for some information about residents. So over here at the 240 million residents, again, it's going to show you some sample reports. It's going to give you some more information, or you can simply get started. So I'm going to click get started, and you'll look at this familiar page yet again, the same sort of things that are there. So say you own a pet store, and that store is in, guess where? The city of Omaha. And you want to send out a coupon to all pet owners in the area. So in this case, On the search by area over here to the left, you're going to choose city. This time we're going to do a city. Over here, we're going to choose the state of Nebraska. And it's going to give you a list. But up here under filter by, you can actually type in Omaha or the beginning of Omaha, and it will show up for you, and you can click on it. And then you can go on down to the next portion. We don't necessarily want to put a name or anything like that because we just want to know their information about their lifestyle. So down here, you have interests, hobbies, and lifestyles. If I click on that, it's going to open up and it's going to give me a long list of possibles. So we're going to choose animals and pets. So over here, we're going to update that count, and it's going to come up and tell us that there are 106,267. And if you click search, it's going to show you the beginning again of that long list, and it's going to give you their contact information. Now remember, we said only 1,000 of these records, just so that you remember that. And again, you can narrow this down further. You can do some other things with it. Remember that this is another list of information where these may or may not be on the do not call list. So that telephone number over there to the far right might not be something that you want to work with. So let's go back home, and we're going to see another way in which to do something. And this time we're going to be taking a look under the 2 million new businesses, and we're going to choose Get Started. And in this case, you have to do outreach to advertise your new business, and you want to do an event in the community, and it's only within specific zip codes. So over here, you're going to choose zip code, and you're going to type in up to 5 zip codes at a time. So we're going to enter in some zip codes here. And in this case, we're going to look at 95350 and 95351. Okay. And at this point over here to the left, we're going to take a look at time frame down here close to the bottom. And so on this at this point in time, you want to find the people who've been here for the last 3 months. So you're going to use this click box, and you're going to come down here and say last 3 months, and go on ahead and update that count over here. And it's going to come up in a few minutes and give you the count of 126 people. And when you click search, it's going to give you that full listing. Since this is a case where this is both residential and business, you will go, as you go down through here, you're going to see both businesses and residential folks. Again, you can print, download, or email the records to yourself, and you can select the level of detail and the format as how you want it displayed, and you can do this as narrow or as broad as you like. Okay, let's go home and again and look at the next one. And the next one goes like this. In this case, we're going to look at the 350,000 new movers, homeowners added weekly. So we're going to click Get Started. In this case, pretend that you are an insurance agent who wants to sell insurance in the area of Shenandoah, Iowa, to new movers within the last month. So under geography, you're going to do city, Iowa. And here we're going to start typing in Shenandoah. And there it is. So we're going to click on Shenandoah. And we're going to come down a little bit. Under relocation details, we're going to use the time frame portion. And in this case, we're going to do this for within the last month. So we'll click last month. And we're going to update that count. Look at what your count is at this moment. It's over 12 million people. When you update the count with the movers, you come down to a total of 20. So that's a big difference. And then we're going to click search to view the records. And it's going to give you the 20 folks who have moved within the last month, so that you can actually go and contact each one of them and see if they are interested in buying your insurance. And to do that, you can again either print, email, or download the records, 25 at a time, but no more than 1,000. You're lucky on this one, it's well under the 1,000. And again, you can make it as broad or as narrow as you want to do. So I'm going to take just a minute and I'm going to go back to home on this, and I'm going to take just a minute and see if everybody's following along with me and if everything is good. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me now, or if you're trying to catch up on your notes, it's a good time to do that. I also have some notes pages that if you are interested in having them, I can send them to you. Just contact me by email at the address at the beginning of the program, and we will take a look at what it is that you're looking for, and I will send you that note along with the document as an attachment. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions, so I'm going to go on ahead and go down here to the next section at the bottom. And in this case, we're going to take again a look at the movers and homeowners. And we're going to do get started. And in this case, you are a landscaping company and you are looking for new customers in Douglas County, Nebraska. And you need a list of new homeowners in the area who've moved in the last 6 months. So we've got the state and the city. So we're going to choose city. Over here, we're going to select state and again choose Nebraska. Not the city, it's a county. Let me change that. I'm going to uncheck city over here and I'm going to check county. And we're going to try this again. The state of Nebraska. And this time our county is Douglas. So we're going to type in the beginning of Douglas and it shows up, and we're going to click on that. And we're going to come down just a little bit. Under time frame, under relocation details, we are going to choose the last 6 months. And then we can do update the count over here. That's 13,131 people. And so you can click search and get an idea of the number of people that you want to contact. You will notice that some of these are from different cities because this is a county that we're taking a look at. So if you wanted to narrow it down to a city, you could actually narrow it down to a city. If you're interested in going broader than a county, you could do that as well. So again, you can print, email, or download the records by 25 records at a time. You cannot download more than 1,000 records per search. So bear that in mind when you're working on this. And again, you can choose different things off of here that you want to have information on when you go to contact those people. Let's go back to home, and this time we're going to try the healthcare issue. So over here, we're going to go to get started next to 12 million healthcare professionals. And this time we're looking for information on radiologists in Lincoln, Nebraska. So I'm going to tell it city here. I'm going to choose that state of Nebraska. And then I'm going to start typing in Lincoln. And here it comes. So I'll select that. And then under the specialty, over here under practice or credential, you have specialty practice area. Click on that and it's going to give you some information. Again, we're going to filter by up here and we are going to look at radiology. And you will notice that there are a number of radiology pieces, quite a few of them. And we want to go on ahead and see how many of these that there are. And since all of these are information about radiology, I'm going to click each one. And we're going to see what information it's going to come up with as soon as I get them all clicked. Okay. And then over here, I am going to go update the count and it's going to take a look and it's going to tell you that there are 50 people in radiology related specialties in the area. And so again, you can do that search and it's going to come up with that information. The same thing applies to this as anything else. You can print, download, or email up to 1,000 records per search and 25 at a time. And you can do the details or just get the basic information. You can go as narrow or as broad as you would like. So let me go back home on this one. And we're going to go back to the business piece of information, the 30 million businesses and executives. And I'm going to click on Get Started. So here I am at Get Started, and it's already put me into the search information. So under geography over here, this first section under geography, you're going to come down and you're going to choose the bottom one that says map-based search. And it's going to give you a map. Up here, you're going to find various things. You can zoom to a specific area like a zip code, a city, or a state. You can draw a shape. You can define how much of a radius you want to have. You can create a driving route. You can choose whatever color of the shape that you want. And it's going to walk you through how you're going to do this. So the first thing we're going to do over here in the zoom to area where the little blinking cursor is, what we're going to do there is we're going to type in a zip code, and that zip code is 68137, and we're going to click to zoom. So it's gone down to that area. Using draw to shape, we click on that. Draw whatever shape you want to on the map. If you come down here and you decide you want to only get the information from this point right here, I'm going to give that a click and it's going to put a dot there. And then I'm going to come over here to this area and I'm going to click and I'm going to put a dot there. And then maybe I want to come down this way and click right here, and then over this way and click here, and then back up this way and click there. So now that is the selection. So it's going to give me the opportunity to take a look at this. Now within this shape, there is 1,228 records. I'm going to tell it to delete that because maybe we'll try something else instead. So let me go over here to define the radius tool. And what it's going to do is, okay, say that we want this right here to be the middle of our area. We can click there, and then we'll move out until we have all the area that we want. And then we'll click, and it's going to come up, and it's going to say that within this space of 1.3 miles, there are 2,031. And I'm going to go on ahead and delete that because we don't really need to see that. But you're over here, notice over here, you have your update your count information here. So let me delete that. And then the third option up here is drive route. And it's going to ask you to put in there from one distance or from one location to another. In this case, if you put each address in there and did create buffer route, what buffer is referring to is the slight distance on either side of the drive route. Because sometimes if you're driving from one direction to the other, it's going to give you one amount of mileage. And if you drive the other route and go or from the one you ended at to the first one that you started at, it might give you a different amount of miles for each of those. So it's going to give you that little buffer there so that you can see what it needs to be done. All right, I'm going to close that window. Now, when we did that, draw the shape, and we chose, whoop, let me try that again, to put in an odd shape, and I'm just going to draw something a little odd here, like this. If I click on the shape, it gives you the shape and the count here. You can actually choose a different color for this one than the last one so that you'll know which one this one is in relation to the other one that we drew that we drew earlier. And I'm going to tell it okay on that. And then over here, we'll update that count. And it says 1,163 on that one. We can actually close this map. And I can do search at this point, and it's going to come up and it's going to give me the results from within that search. And if you notice, a number of these are either holding companies or headquarters. So that information is there as well. So you'll know which ones are the best for you. And again, you can do the changes that you need to do on here to see what information that you want to have a look at. Now, before I go a little bit farther, I want to take you back to this corporate family tree. Anytime you see a down arrow, it means it's at the top. Anytime that you see an up arrow, it means it's somewhere in the middle or at the bottom. When you see this one, if you click on that, it doesn't tell you anything. But if you click on one that's at the top, it's going to give you the information about who is under that company. So there are additional pieces of information that you have. And in this case, under this Lineage Logistic, you have 20 branches. So that's just another bit of information that you're going to see. So that is how you view a company's corporate structure using that linkage information. And all of these informational pieces over here to the left, the PV is designated as a private company. The B is designated as a branch. There are also public companies, subsidiaries, and second level subsidiaries on there. All right, I'm going to go back to 30 million businesses and executives, and I'm going to tell it I want to do a new search. And this time we're going to work a little bit with the charts and graphs. So in this case, you are going to go back to Douglas County, Nebraska. And so I'm going to come down here. I'm going to choose county. Here, I'm going to tell it Nebraska. And this was Douglas. Whoops, misspelled Douglas, and you get the wrong thing. So there is Douglas. All right. We're going to update that count. We have 30,163 in that area. And we're going to do search. And you'll notice on this search, again, there's 30,163 results. So you're only going to be able to do any emailing, downloading, or printing up to 1,000 records. So choose them individually or choose them as one long group with the business name checkbox. A lot of people choose to choose them individually, and to do that, you can simply go through here and just check on the ones that are of interest to you. Perhaps you wanted only headquarters and holding companies, then you will only get those. So if I do that, whatever happens next is going to be done within those 6 companies. And so up here on this graph button, I'm going to click on that, and it's going to come up and it's going to give me a graph about that area, those 6 companies. And 27.2% of the companies make up to $500,000. And then as you go down the list, only 85 of them make 100 million or more. So if you wanted to narrow it down, you could use this to narrow down that you only want those 85. If you want to choose the ones up to 500,000, you can choose the 8,173 of them. Over here, it's also going to give you either the pie chart or the graph. And it's going to give you that same information. Down here is where you can choose to select whatever you want, and you can update that range. And then down below, the top 10 results in your range, it tells you who those are, and it gives their corporate family tree information. Let me point out here, the TD Ameritrade Holding Corporation in Omaha is both below the headquarters, but it's above some others. So if I click that corporate family tree, it's going to open up, and it's going to tell you that TD Ameritrade is a secondary level subsidiary to the publicly traded Charles Schwab. So it gives you some information about both the company itself and other pieces. And then let me go back to that graph. And here you can actually download, print, or email these as JPEGs, PNGs, or GIF format. And you can create a PDF to print or email. I'm going to go back up here to where that original search was, to the results page. And I want to give you, not results page, to the original search page. I'm going to tell it to revise the search. And here, so that you can see this, it will also let you search by NAICS codes, by SIC codes, by the city, and by the zip code, as well as the employee size and the revenue here, and some other additional information. So if you only want to contact the ones with toll-free numbers, you can tell them I only want the toll-free numbers. If you want only women-owned, you can tell it you want only the women-owned. So let's try women-owned and toll-free numbers. And I'm going to, up here, that we only want companies with toll-free and we only want women-owned. We're going to update that count, and now we go down to 34. So instead of having thousands, we're now down to 34 companies that are women-owned, have toll-free numbers, and are in the Douglas County, Nebraska area. And then I'm going to go back home and I'm going to point out one more time, just because it's a necessary thing. When you are looking at a job and you are trying to decide whether or not that's the career that you want, the career resources information, this skills assessment, if you do how to prepare, it's going to give you information about finding out what the best fit would be for you. And each one of these are going to be able to be open and you'll be able to read them on the screen. And I do believe that, let's try this one, how to answer these 8 questions. When I click on that, yes, indeed, I'm actually able to print that document. So you don't have to read it on the screen. You can actually print it off for yourself. I'm going to close that information. How to apply. It's going to give you information again about the resumes and the cover letters. And again, if I choose the templates and examples, it's going to open up. You can take a look at the template or an example, and you can print these off as well. And then let me go back home and go back to career resources. The how to interview, that's that do's and don'ts list. I've actually copied that list onto the notes that I can send you, so you won't have to go back and look for it. So that information will be available to you. The other part of this, and I did not realize this until I just opened this up, they now have videos that you can do, one that shows you how to do an interview and one that says how not to interview. And 10 questions every employee should ask their employer, some tough interview questions, how to do a thank you letter. It's always nice if you send them a thank you for allowing you to come and visit with them and interview with them. I'm going to close this one more time. So those are some of the ways that you can look at things. I'm going to go back to find a job on this side. Here under covers and letters and resume, we're going to get the same thing that was on the other piece. But this is the important thing. When I was young, a long time ago, and I was looking for my first job, I knew what I wanted to be, and I went after it by going to that location and asking, do you have something for me? They did, and I spent a summer working at the local library. These days, things are different, especially during this time of COVID. You don't necessarily want to do face-to-face, especially not up close and personal face-to-face. So a lot of people are doing their searches using technology. And one of the things that you can do to help yourself understand better about the places that you're applying to is by looking up that business and seeing who's there, what types of things that they do, so on and so forth. So if you were going to take a look at finding a job at the Kershaw County Library, over here under business name, you can type in Kershaw County Library. And it's already putting in Camden and South Carolina because it was an existing item in my searches. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to search. And what it did is it came up and it gives you a headquarter. It tells you the street address of the library. It gives you the phone number here. And of course, it can't give you the revenue because it's a government office. But there are a couple of pieces of information on here that are wrong. First of all, the name of the director here is incorrect. The address is the street address, but not the mailing address. And if I click on the corporate family tree, the only thing that it's going to give me is the fact that there's an Elgin branch library, but it does not have the Bethune branch library. And I'm using this to let you know that not everything on here is totally correct. So just because the information is here, it might not have the quite correct information. So you're going to need to double and triple check things. The nice thing about the Kershaw County Library is you can look up Kershaw County Library, Camden, South Carolina on the internet, and you're going to see our webpage and you're going to see more current information. So that's just a stop and think before you do moment. The other thing about this is it does give you information, a little bit more information about the library. In this case, it says here in Camden, there are 20 to 49 employees. I don't believe I've ever seen 49 employees work here, just so that you know. And then Elgin, it says up to 4. So sometimes the information is good. It's going to tell you about how many people might work here. Sometimes it's going to give you the branches. Sometimes it's not going to give you the complete information. Always take everything with a slight bit of grain of salt, and always double check your information in the second location as well. But one of the best things that you need to do, as I mentioned, is go out and research the business that you're looking at and make sure that they will fit your idea of the job that you want to have. And that's going to be my segue into telling you that later in February, you are going to see 2 more programs. And one of those programs is going to be the Small Business Reference Center. And the other one is going to be the Business Source Premier, which includes company profiles. So those are 2 additional places that you can go to research a business if you were thinking about joining them as an employee, or if you need to get some background for something that you're working on for your business or your school project. These are all great places that you can take a look at. Please join us for those because there's going to be some really good information on those as well. As I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions or need any assistance, please do not hesitate to email me. The other thing is that this will be based on the Kershaw County YouTube page at some point in time, and you will be able to review it there. Or you can actually go back to the A to Z page and you can take part of the A to Z University courses there. They're a little bit more in depth and they may cover things better than I have covered them for you so far today. I thank you for coming and joining us, and we hope to see you next time. Bye.